All right, we'll kick off. Good to see y'all. Thanks for being here this morning. Today's program is a little different than our typical deep dive calls. So those of you who join regularly, you'll know usually we do like a project showcase or a technology showcase or spotlight and kind of do a deep dive into a particular topic. What we have been doing in years past leading up to the Innovation Invitational is using the deep dive call right before to do kind of know before you go information and then focus on preparations for the team showcase that's on the third day event. So that's what we're doing today. We're talking a little bit more about what to expect at the invitational, and then we've got some of our expert judges who will provide feedback and guidance to teams on that are participating in the team showcase. We've got a couple of them here today to introduce themselves. So that's a little preview of today. I think we will have time at the end of the call for questions. And then I am also happy to answer questions throughout. And we've got some other CTR folks on the call who can help answer questions as well. But the goal today is to get y'all ready and excited for the upcoming invitational June 16th through 18th in Fort Worth. This is our third year doing it, and we're excited. We've kind of, gotten on a roll about formatting and programming and how we run this event. So hope to see y'all there. I will start with just an overview of the agenda. There's a few things I've shared about this here and there, and I know I talked about it at the April meeting. There's a few things that I want to call out in particular to show y'all. So let's see if I can get this pulled up. Okay, you should be seeing the agenda now. I know that the agenda on CEvent on the event website is a bit more high level, so I wanted to make sure y'all had good info about what to expect for each of the days. And then, as I said, we'll get into more details about the team showcase, and we'll hear from a couple of our judges who are joined this morning. So the first day, June 16th, is a tech showcase and poster session. We've done this in years past, the tech showcase piece. So this is an awesome opportunity to see some of the cool emerging technology up close and personal. DFW has a ton going on. A lot of the autonomous trucking companies are headquartered or have a presence there. So they'll bring trucks out, and then we will also have a few passenger autonomous vehicles as well. And then we've got drones, we've got data tools, and like ITS focused exhibitors. And then we also have scooters and micro mobility and bikes, all of the fun multimodal things as well. And then we'll have a few public agencies. It's free of cost for public agencies to exhibit on this first day. So we're excited to welcome in a number from the DFW region just to showcase what they're up to, what they're focusing on, and really build relationships and highlight that. And then the other thing that we're doing new this year on June 16th is this poster session. We have it's all TxDOT posters, so you'll get to see details about what divisions and districts are doing in terms of innovation. We've got over 40 posters. Let me pull up. I've got an update on some of the key themes of these posters. So we've got AI-powered predictive analytics for cost estimating and process automation. We've got machine learning to enhance monitoring of material quality and detection of traffic anomalies. We've got smart work zones and smart intersections, I-45 innovation corridor technologies, advanced air mobility, project management and reporting using GIS, and connected vehicle data to improve traffic ops, driver alerts, and routine maintenance. That's a preview. As I said, these are all TxDOT focused projects, so this is a cool way to get a peek into what districts and divisions are doing in terms of innovation. So that's a preview of day one. The second day is kind of typical conference programming. We've got it laid out where the morning sessions are more like big picture strategy focused. We'll open with some opening remarks from local leadership, Fort Worth EDC and the Fort Worth District Engineer. We've got a fireside chat that really looks at leadership, at agency level leadership, from the county commissioner's perspective, from some district leadership, and then from the MPO. How are agency leaders thinking about innovation, and what does that really mean when you get down to the day-to-day? And then we've got a panel focused on, we're calling it economy and transportation. The goal of this panel is to really look at all the growth and excitement and investment happening in North Texas. So Toyota, DFW Airport, Alliance, Texas, and the intermodal freight pieces happening there, starting to think about what they're seeing in their worlds related to innovation and where they're headed. We've got a panel at 11:45 that I'm personally very excited about. It's focused on public-private partnerships for projects. So TxDOT Houston District and Replica, Frisco and their partners at Wing, and then the TxDOT Austin District with Recor. The goal of this one, most of our Alliance participants are public agencies, so y'all know how it goes. The public agency world is different. So what does it mean to have an effective partnership with industry and with public sector solution providers for a public agency project? So they'll highlight 3 different really effective partnerships that are, data focused, but then last mile delivery operations focused as well. The afternoon of the second day, we'll highlight some TxDOT innovations at the district and division levels. And really hear about innovative projects. Some of them will relate to the posters on the first day, but some of them are a bit different as well. And then we've got a freight focused, sorry, it is so hard to share screen and manage the lobby. So Allison, if you could help me with that, I would appreciate it. Thank you. We've got a 2 p.m. one focused on freight ecosystem. So again, North Texas, tons going on there with autonomous trucking, intermodal facilities. This looks at really our strategy for the future of freight. What does that look like statewide? How does that tie into technology and kind of existing legacy systems as well? At 2:45, TxDOT has some innovation awards that are new this year. That will be a really exciting way to recognize and honor folks who are innovators and who are champions in this space. And then the afternoon, we always get good feedback on this. It's breakout sessions, very technical focus. So you can choose AI data tools, CAVs, multimodal, or traffic ops. And we've got an hour and a half here. There will be plenty of time to dig in, Q&As, interactive, really up close and personal with a mixture of public sector agencies who are investing in these areas or have projects in these areas, and then private sector folks as well. And these are moderated by different TxDOT experts. Okay, that's my spiel on days 1 and 2. What we're here to really dive into is day 3, the team showcase. I mentioned we've done this a couple years now. So Fort Worth Mayor Maddie Parker is going to kick us off on the 3rd day. We've got a great panel of experts. We'll talk with some of them here shortly. And then we've got team showcases. So let me switch what I'm sharing actually. It will be rapid fire. They're 5-minute presentations. And they'll just be back to back to back to back. So it's a great way if you're in the public sector, it's a great way to see what other folks are doing, learn from them, kind of share ideas like, hey, we tried this. Have you thought about this XYZ, or get ideas for your own agency? And then if you're industry, again, it's a great way to see what regions are thinking about, what projects they've got, where their priorities are. And we always hear that it leads to really good, effective networking and relationship building. So I encourage y'all, we've got a networking break built in the middle, and then afterwards, there's the 3rd day is a half day, so there's time to kind of connect with folks after their presentations as well. And I encourage y'all to do that, to seek out someone whose presentation was interesting to you or related to work that you're doing, and connect with them. Okay, so that is high level stuff. What I want to do now is introduce Gabby and Josh, who are 2 of our experts. And then I worked with our other 3 expert judges to get their tips that we'll do like a virtual introduction for them. So I'll share the screen, and Gabby, I'll pass it to you if you don't mind doing a quick introduction just about you and your background. And then if you will, a tip or a consideration for the teams who are presenting in terms of what you'll be looking for or what you hope to see from them.
Sure. Hey, good morning. I appreciate everybody being here, and I appreciate everybody just willing to come and share their expertise in this really cool invitational. So that's already a gold star in my book there. So I'm Gabby Tossian. I am the president of AU Plus Engineering. We are a smart mobility and safety focused firm. We do a lot of other transportation things, but traffic is near and dear to my heart. I tell people that I brake for safety. And so I really like to see what new emerging technologies we can use in order to save lives. And the important thing there is not just to it's to think a little bit more than just the engineering aspect of things, but also a lot of the education and enforcement and emergency management response that can go with some of the engineering recommendations that we can make. I have about 18, no, 19 years of experience. I think after you hit 10 years, you just kind of just kind of starts compressing. I can't believe I'm getting to be that old. But at any rate, I've been in the industry for almost 2 decades now, and I've really enjoyed my time as a traffic engineer. But as far as tips and tricks and things that I'll personally be looking for is really on the implementation side, and how is this technology scalable, and what are the true I guess hurdles that you have to go through in order to implement them. As somebody that has implemented some new tech, it can be very frustrating at times to know that there's a very smart solution for something, but you hit a lot of roadblocks as far as maybe standards, or maybe there's a policy that needs to be updated, or there's no bid item on that. And so I'll personally be looking for some of those things. I want to see if you've thought about some of those challenges and solutions. You don't necessarily have to have the solution per se, but just, you've already thought about, okay, yes, we understand this. This is going to be a challenge, and we're thinking we're going to address it this and this and this and this way. So as far as I'm concerned, that's pretty much it. I don't know, Anna. I'll
Yeah,
send it back
that's
to you.
great. I appreciate that, Gabby. Thank you. I
Mhm.
think we'll, in a couple slides, I've got the criteria for the pitch team showcase outlined, and scalability is a big piece of that. Those who have been participating in the Alliance know that that is really core to the Alliance mission. So learning from peer agencies and thinking about, here's what's worked in my region or what hasn't worked in my region, but really what does that mean more broadly for the state and for our statewide transportation network. So I think scalability is huge. Josh, I will pass it to you for a quick intro and similar thoughts or considerations from your perspective.
A pleasure to be with you all today. Look forward to hanging out in Fort Worth and seeing the projects that you're working on firsthand. So a little bit about my background. I've been in the ITS industry for a while too. I won't say how many years. It does sneak up on you. So excited to just again see the pitches and the innovations that you're driving and the potential for the impact there. So my background, work for Southwest Research Institute. We develop ITS systems for TxDOT and across the country, and that has a focus on a blend of operations software for the ITS environment, but also developing automated vehicle technology for the Department of Defense and other commercial providers, connected vehicles and drones. So I have a pretty good experience and exposure to what some of these technologies are capable of doing. There's a lot of great potential there, and just seeing how those pieces get glued together to solve some real world problems. So when I think about the things that I would be focusing on in looking at your pitches, it's going to be pretty common themes, which is good. Technology feasibility, and I think that's a balance of innovation that you're driving, as well as how accessible that technology is and your understanding of the risk of deploying those technologies. And it may not be the risk just from a technology perspective, but the policy side of things as well. That's really important. And then the other thing is that's huge is if this is proven successful in your project, what is the potential scalability of the impact to other regions across the state or the country? and let's invest our dollars in places that have the broadest, biggest impact. So that's obviously, I think, super important. And then the other thing, just thinking from a research perspective, you can success will go as far as you can prove. And having metrics that are clearly defined about the impacts that you want to make and the fact that you can actually measure them helps us quantify and prove to the funding sources to scale these technologies out more widely. So that would be valuable to me as well.
Right, right. Thank you, Josh. Super helpful. There are a couple things. I think you're exactly right. Some of these themes you'll hear from others. I've got a slide with some virtual introductions as well. I stopped sharing. Whoops. Okay, here we go. There we go. I'll move to the next slide shortly, but Josh, to your point, something that came up in working with the other experts to get their tips or consideration ahead of time is one, like integration and technology feasibility and maturity with emerging tech. I see that there are so many things that maybe are in pilot phase or aren't 100% proven, and then how do we move that into a deployment and an implementation in a way that's sustainable. And then the other thing I wanted to flag, making it needs driven. We always talk about, technology or innovation just for the sake of technology or innovation isn't really effective. Tying that to, and part of that's performance measures, Josh, tying that to, what's the need, what's our goal here, and how does our solution really fit into that?
On this sheet.
I'm getting feedback from someone. If everyone could just check their mics, please. Okay, awesome. So Gabby and Josh, thanks so much for being here this morning. We've got 3 other judges expert judges, sorry, who were not able to make it just due to travel schedules and that sort of thing. So Darren Anderson, y'all will be familiar with him. He's the Director of Strategy and Innovation at TxDOT. He has served as a judge for the last couple of years. So you should be familiar with him and understand what perspective and background he brings. Caroline Mays similarly has served as a judge for the last 2 years. She's the Director of Planning and Modal Programs at TxDOT. So she has background in multimodal planning. Caroline always has a big focus on community engagement and how you are bringing stakeholder perspectives to the table in your solution. And then Karina Ricks is with CityFi. She spent a lot of time at FTA and now at CityFi really focuses on what I would call like usable technology. So back to the point about scalability and kind of feasibility of your projects. Karina has a great perspective and background on usable technology and what that means for public agencies. So I worked with the judges who were not able to make today's call to get some tips from them. Some of these Gabby and Josh have expressed, but there are a couple new ones here as well. So partnerships, making sure that you have the right team at the table. Do you have technology experts? Do you have stakeholder and community outreach experts? Do you have folks who can kind of bring perspective and thoughts on the policy pieces of it? Do you have the right team? Scalability, we heard about this from Gabby and Josh. I think that this is very important given the context of the Alliance. Thinking about what this could mean for either an expansion in your region, in your jurisdiction, or statewide or nationwide. Clearly communicate value proposition and evaluation metrics. Again, this kind of came up with Gabby and Josh as well, making sure that your solution and your technology and innovation is tied to a need. Like, what is the value proposition here? What's the objective? What are we solving? And then evaluation metrics, how do we measure that? Are the challenge and the solution and the performance evaluation need to all be tied together. Engage research partners. I think that this kind of goes back to that first recommendation about building the right team. If there's a need for a research partner, either for performance evaluation or for technology deployment or for any of those, have you made that connection and kind of brought them to the table? And then the last one came from Darren specifically about considering USDOT goals. We're under a new administration and there are different objectives that long-term success of a project should consider. So as much as you can, kind of tie into what the administration's stated goals are, and use that alignment to kind of point you towards long-term success and long-term sustainability for a project. I'll pause here if y'all have questions either about these tips right here, or questions for Gabby and Josh while they're on the call with us. And then the next slide has a bit more detail about criteria and format and that sort of thing. But before we get into kind of housekeeping, I want to pause for questions for Gabby or Josh, or for me based on the other judges' tips.
Easy crowd, Anna. Easy crowd.
I know, they're too stunned to speak. Okay, I want to highlight, I have shared this out with folks, but since we're all together here, I want to highlight this as well. These are the same criteria that we've been using for the past few years. So if you've participated before, you should be familiar with these. They align very well with what you just heard from our judges, which I think makes it easy. So challenge definition is the community challenge clearly identified, articulated, and appropriately sized. So that goes into, tying the solution to the problem. Goal alignment, this kind of ties into Darren's recommendation about USDOT goals and TxDOT goals. Does it make sense for your agency's goals? Does it make sense for Texas goals, for TxDOT goals? How does this serve the greater transportation network? Collaboration, we talked a bit about this with bringing the right partners to the table. So I think it always bodes well when you have regional stakeholders at the table and have kind of connected the dots with others in your region about this project idea or this vision. Innovation, data management, and technical merit. This is an innovation conference. There needs to be an innovation component to it. I love that word is, it means different things to different people, and that's great. So we have seen projects that bring innovative perspectives on community engagement, and what does innovative community engagement look like? It could be technology focused and technology heavy. The key here is that your solution is tied to the original goal, and you've got good performance measures and evaluation in place. And then the last piece, broader impacts in performance measurement. Scalability is here, and then the piece about performance evaluation metrics, that all ties in. And then TxDOT, same day. And the first year we did it, teams had to come back later in September. Last year, we just did a same day announcement. You'll remember that the judges get shuffled off for 15 minutes. 15 minutes. I've been coaching them up this year, so we'll be quick. It will be 15 minutes, and then we'll announce up to 3 winners same day. So it's a half day. It will be quick, it will be exciting, and it will all happen just right there on June 18th. Questions from folks about any of these criteria? The format, it's a 5-minute pitch. The judges have 4 minutes to deliver feedback, and then a 1-minute closing comment from the team, just if there's something you forgot to mention, or just want to add a little quick update on. Okay, let me come back and find y'all. Okay, let's see here. Josh or Gabby, any other things that I missed in kind of overview information or introductions that y'all would like to hit on?
I don't have anything additional.
Okay.
You covered it well.
Good.
Same.
Good. And then Shelly and Ben, I wanted to give y'all an opportunity as well to share either from your perspective, things that you wanted to highlight, or anything that I missed in kind of housekeeping prep information.
Hi, Anna. I'm not sure if we really have a lot to add. Y'all covered a lot of bases. I think in general, in covering, Darren and Caroline's suggestions, that helped as well. But hearing from Gabby and Josh was really great. So I don't think there's a lot to add. Y'all are covering all the bases.
Good. Okay, great. The last couple of things I wanted to do with y'all this morning is, one, share just the same way that I shared previews of TxDOT's posters at the poster session. I'll share a few previews of some of the project ideas that you can expect to hear more about on June 18th. I'll just do a teaser so that I don't give away any exciting information in those project presentations. And then I will share, after that, I will share just kind of administrative, like registration stuff. If there are any questions that y'all have about that, I will stay on and happy to answer those as well. So on June 18th, some of the project presentations you can expect to hear. We have got a presentation from Team Austin that focuses on some of Cap Metro's automation activities, specifically for their yard operations. So thinking about what that means for in-yard operations from a transit perspective. And then there's also a piece in there about workforce training and how you start to approach that. From Team Arlington, City of Arlington will present about some asset management and data management tools specifically for lighting. I think this is an interesting one. There's so much focus on asset management and digital tools for things like ITS infrastructure, you know, kind of bridges and more traditional infrastructure. But now we're moving to phase 2 where we're thinking about lighting and smart lighting and what that means. Let's see here, a few others to highlight. I think we'll have 8 total. I'll just pick 1 or 2 more. Team Permian Basin, City of Midland is focusing on a partnership between Midland and Odessa to use data and AI-based signal timing on SH91, which connects Midland and Odessa, to improve congestion and to inform first responder routing and operations. So a great example of regional partnership there, Midland and Odessa and the whole region coming together on kind of a data sharing approach. Another one I'll highlight is related to software solutions for microtransit. So how do, first of all, apps integrate? If 3 or 4 providers in a rural region are all using different ride request applications, how do you make that easier for the end user so you don't have to download 6 or 7 different apps to hail a ride? And then secondly, what does that mean for populations who may not have technology awareness or technology access? How do we still reach those folks? What does education and outreach look like? You know, how can we use technology and use app-based ride requesting, but not isolate or leave folks behind who really need to be able to request rides? So that's a little preview of what to expect. Just a handful of them, more to come on that. And hopefully y'all will all stick around for the 18th to hear more from these teams. They've put in a lot of work to put this together and super appreciative of them for showing up and bringing great ideas forward. The last pieces I wanted to add are just housekeeping things. I'll drop the link to registration, and we've got a hotel block with government rates available. So if you haven't done that yet, now's the time. It's just a couple of weeks away, and I always leave things to the last minute. So I totally understand if you haven't organized yet, but now's the time. The CVent site has registration, and it also has hotel block information. But if you have questions outside of that, please reach out. I'm happy to chat and to help however I can. And we've got a whole CTR team and event production team who can answer any questions that I can't. I'll open it up. I know we've got a lot of folks on the call who are presenting projects. So if y'all have specific questions about, you know, format or kind of nitty-gritty things, I'm happy to chat. And then I see folks as well who I expect are just attending the conference but not presenting on the 3rd day. So if y'all have questions about the conference or programming or any of that, I'm happy to answer questions about that as well. So I'll stay on. If you don't have questions, feel free to drop. We were expecting to end a bit early today, which is fine, but I'll be around if anyone wants